Today we're going over how to do lockpicking in Oblivion. So to show this, we're in Leowyn at Adargi's house, which is right sort of in between the castle and the northeast gate. There's 3 basic steps we want to follow. First, we need to test each tumbler until it moves down very slowly. You can just keep hitting the tumbler with your pick and letting it drop until it starts to move down very slowly. Once you see the tumbler moving down slowly, you want to catch it by hitting it with the pick a second time before it goes all the way down. This will cause the tumbler to maintain its slow speed. Now that we have a slow tumbler, set it in place once it's at the top. We should have the maximum window to do this now since it's moving slow. Okay, so here we are at Adargi's house, and you can see we have a hard lock. We start by hitting the first tumbler, and you can see it starts to drop down pretty quickly on that one. And we're just looking for a nice slow tumbler. And there we have it there at the end. That was pretty slow there. We're just waiting for the perfect opportunity. It's good to be nice and patient, and that's pretty slow right there, so I catch it and I lock it right there. So you just want to keep repeating this. Keep hitting it until you see it start to move slow. That's good right there. And then right here on the final lock. So now we're in, and let's head up to an easy lock. Pay attention to the second tumbler here, and just see if you can notice the difference in speed and how you can react to the slow locking window. So the first one here I actually just get without having to fiddle with much. And then pay attention on the next hit right here. Now, I catch it right before it goes all the way down. So back downstairs, heading right and then left, we get a chest with an average lock. Now look for the 7th hit on the second tumbler. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It goes very slow, and we catch it. And you can see there again, very slow on the 3rd. Okay, so here's one final example where we get it on the 3rd, 2nd, and 3rd hits, so watch for those. So first tumbler, 1, 2, 3. It goes slow, we bounce it and lock it. Second, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. It goes slow, we catch it. Okay, so now that we have the method down, what happens if we're out of picks? Well, you can go over here outside the western wall of the Imperial City and just head along the wall here, checking the crevices until eventually you should find Shady Sam. So we can go ahead and talk to him and take a look at his inventory. And it's a pretty unique one. The most important thing for us is he has 30 lockpicks. He's not connected with a faction, so we can use him at any point in our playthrough. And he restocks the lockpicks every 24 hours, so if you wait a bit, you can stock up. So what if you're later in the game and want something to really up your lockpicking game? Well, head back to Leowyn, and you can place a marker right here where the road curves, like you see on my map. So without getting into spoilers, here you can see a quest to do if you want a major permanent boost to your lockpicking. So go on up here, you should see this icon pop up to the Shrine of Nocturnal on your map once you're close to that marker. So it tells me I need to be more powerful. I think you need to be around level 15 to start this quest. And you can complete that then in and around Leowyn. So what if we want to put all that sneaking and lockpicking to good use? Well, you're going to want to join the Thieves Guild. Here I'm using a character fresh out of the sewers, and all we have to do to get started is head on to the waterfront district of the Imperial City. Once we're here, we can take a quick look at the wanted poster to learn about the Grey Fox, and then continue on through this gate and hug the right wall. You should eventually arrive at a rock and a smaller wall. Jump on over, and this is the area you'll be joining the Thieves Guild. Simply wait until just after 12 AM and then go back to this spot. Now talk to Armand. You'll need to persuade him up to above 50 disposition, and then talk to him again, and make sure to ask about the Grey Fox. This will give you the option to ask to join the guild. However, Armand tells us to wait for our competition, who shortly arrives, and then tells us we'll be on a race to steal a certain diary, making sure not to kill anyone or each other along the way. Now before you do anything, stop and talk to Armand again. He will give you your one and only chance to buy lockpicks from him for 5 septims apiece. Hit enter twice to speed up the process. You can buy as many as you want, but because this is a fresh character, I could only pick up a few. We can then simply follow our competition through the waterfront district and all the way to our target. At the house, we practice our skills on another easy lock. Once we're in, simply rush past the slow-moving opponent and open the unlocked desk along the north wall. Now we just grab the diary while our guildmate watches and weeps. Head back to Armand and he'll welcome us into the guild. We can now ask about the guild, but we want to know how to sell all the stolen loot we'll be getting. Armand tells us to seek out Ongar and Bruma, and we now have a fence, who will help us profit from our newly honed lockpicking skills. We'll need to visit Ongar for future guild quests, or we can just use him to sell stolen goods other merchants won't take. So in this video, we covered the Tumbler speed method for lockpicking in Oblivion, tips for getting more lockpicks in the beginning of the game, how to find a quest to boost lockpicking in the endgame, and how to join the Thieves Guild to make use of your skills. I hope you guys found this video useful. If you did, please be sure to hit that subscribe button and leave a like, as I am just starting out and every little bit really helps. What do you think of my lockpicking tips? Do you have a way of doing it better? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to stay tuned for much more Oblivion Remastered content coming down the pipeline, and I'll see you all in the next video.